Hello folks, and welcome to Friday's Hi-Fi News, etc. And before we dive into the meat of the video, let me tell you what I've got for you this time around. To begin with, and in a second, I have some trivia for you. After that, we have, how many? 4 pieces of Hi-Fi News. Then I have one viewer question, because it's another one of those long answers, oh yes. And then finally, a quickie, a hint tip for you. Again, from a YouTube viewer. And if you have any hints and tips about anything to do with hi-fi, could be anything at all, but you know, hint and tip kind of thing, let me know. I'd love to feature it in this slot. Anyway, to get the ball rolling, trivia. And we're continuing in the geography theme. And this time we're looking at 2 British groups. And the question is, only 2 British groups have seen their first 3 singles go to #1. Who were they? And what water-based song do they both have in common? One more time, only 2 British groups have seen their first 3 singles go to #1. Who were they and what water-based song did they have in common? And as per usual, please don't Google or research on the internet any of this stuff. Have a little think. It just makes it more exciting. I'm sure you'll agree. I will tell you the answer, or answers, because there's a couple of groups, at the end of this video. In the meantime, Hi-Fi News. And I'd like to begin with the speaker company Martin Logan, because Martin Logan has introduced the new Motion and Motion XT speaker series. The Motion XT series comprises 4 models, 2 floor standing, 1 bookshelf and 1 center channel. The Motion series adds an additional 5 models, including 2 floor standing, 1 bookshelf, 1 center channel, and the intriguing MP10, which is a sort of multi-purpose solution for home theatres and also stereo use. All of these turn up in 3 finishes, either gloss black, walnut or satin white, and all arrive with new and improved drivers and waveguide designs. The new range features the Gen 2 Obsidian folded motion tweeters, upgraded, so I hear, with larger magnet structures. So expect lower distortion and higher output. The bass drivers are also new. Motion XT receives Nomex reinforced Kevlar woofers, while Motion uses fiberglass woofers. Inside our new McCracken, how do you pronounce that? McCracken Vodco? I don't know. Vodco? I'm going to say Vodco. I think it could be a silent J. Let me know if I got that wrong. I probably have. The floor standing models benefit from fast foot. Now, that's not fast food, it's fast foot. This is a new, fully adjustable, toolless foot design, adding anti-vibration properties. The Motion XTs and Motion series are out now. Prices, well, there's a whole heap of prices, folks. So I'm going to put all of those on screen right now. Otherwise, my little black prices box will be up and down like a fiddler's elbow. So here they are. Next up, and one for streaming fans, and it is that Deezer has partnered with Sonos for the Sonos Radio HD service. Now, the news item itself, well, that says that with the new partnership, Deezer will be adding around 90 million tracks to the Sonos Radio app, plus metadata, licensing, reporting, and royalty management, business intelligence and data, as well as strategic collaboration for growth and monetization of the service. That's the quote. Which I reckon covers just about everything, hey? But the main reason I wanted to talk about this news story because it gives me an excuse to talk about Sonos Radio HD itself, which I have listened to relatively recently and I quite like, I must say. The sound quality is pretty good at 16-bit 44.1 kilohertz. It includes over 60,000 radio stations across the world. It includes Sonos' own radio stations too, which include artist-curated music from, well, all kinds of people like Tom York, the Chemical Brothers, and more. There's genre-themed music stations like New Wave or Afrobeat. There's also time-themed stations like music from the 70s, and there's even mood music or music for your physical state. So, white noise may be useful if you have tinnitus, or snoozy piano sounds might help you to get to sleep if you have trouble doing the same. I'll put a link below if you want to find out more, and I'll put links for everything I talk about here down below as well. Price is £7.99 per month. Next up, it's Leema's 25th birthday. Oh, happy birthday to... And that's enough of that. Leema Acoustics is celebrating 25 years of British-made audio equipment this year. Originally founded in Wales in 1998 by two ex-BBC sound engineers, Lee Taylor and Mallory Nichols, and Leema comes from their names, the Lee bit and the MA of Mallory. The company shows no signs of stopping as it prepares to release a new product range called the Quantum. And the Quantum series comprises the new Electron CD player, the Positron streamer, the Neutron DAC preamp, and the Graviton power amp. Co-founder Lee Taylor had a bit of a tearful twinkle in his eyes as he was remembering the past, and he remembered, and I quote, Leema started as a hobby project in a small metal shed bought from a Littlewoods catalogue back in 1998. And for UK viewers, do you remember Littlewoods catalogues? I certainly do. The fact we are still doing what we love 25 years later, although thankfully now in a much bigger shed, is a constant source of surprise to me. It seems the old adage, time flies when you're having fun, is true. Now, when I get more information on the new Quantum line of products, I'll be sure to pass them on. Next, we're back to Pro-Ject and a couple of upgraded record cleaning machines. Both the VCE2 and VCS3 record cleaning machines have been upgraded. How? Well, they include a new improved cabinet design utilising 5mm aluminium composite panels. There are new magnetic clamps for quicker setup, improved two-way rotational motors, new self-adhesive arm strips for, as the company says, better interaction between the record and the vacuum arm, plus brand new liquid, which is called Wash It 2. This stuff is apparently eco-friendly, pre-mixed and alcohol-free. Oh, and there will be a 7-inch kit due later in 2023 that's compatible with the latest models. So, you can clean your mucky singles. Prices, the VCE2 will cost you £349. The VCS3 is priced at £499. That's your HiFi news. Let's go to the viewer question. On this particular question, which is coupled with a rather long answer, let me warn you, comes from Alton Marshall XX9SI, which is a bit of a mouthful. He says, and I'll call him Alton just for sake of brevity. Alton says, "Hello, audiophile man." Hello, Alton. Big fan. Well, that's rather humbling. Thank you. I have a question for your recommendation. I received the Fluance RT85, that'll be the turntable, and a pair of Yamaha HS7 powered speakers as a gift. I need your advice on what other components or phone preamp to connect to this system. And I guess you're talking about a phono amp. Well, this is tricky. So what you have here is the top-end Fluance turntable, which I don't think includes a phono amplifier built in. So you'll need to buy one. Now, there's a heap of options out there in terms of which external phono amp to buy, but I'm not sure of your budget. So just in case, if you haven't got a great deal of cash to spend, I would recommend the Pro-Ject Phono, which you can pick up for around £70. Again, I'm not too sure where you're calling from. Is it the UK, US, Europe? And you can pick that up, this Pro-Ject Phono amp, all over the place. Amazon, and there's a whole host of outlets. Everyone seems to sell it nowadays. So the turntable plugs into your phono amp, and that's the easy bit. Now you need to then plug the phono amp into your speakers. The thing about the Yamaha speakers is that they're really aimed at pro use. These are near-field studio monitors with studio level sockets. That is, you get a choice of using either balanced 3-pin XLRs or balanced 6.35mm plugs. You have to choose which socket you want to use on this setup. Now, from what I know of these speakers, there's an amplifier in each, and hence a power switch as well for each and every speaker. To plug the phono amplifier into these speakers, I reckon you'll need 2 separate cables, each one with a single-ended RCA on one end and a balanced XLR, let me choose the XLR, on the other end. One for the left channel and one for the right channel. Now, at this point, I was concerned because you're starting with a single-ended connection on one side and you're ending with a balanced connection on the other side. So, because I wasn't sure how this was going to play out, I gave the boss of Atlas Cables, a gentleman by the name of Kevin Kelly, a ring, and I asked him for his advice. He is a very nice man because he spared time out of his busy day, and according to Mr. Kelly, the issue is there might be a grounding issue. It depends on the speakers. They may be fine. They may not be fine. Now, Kevin Kelly advises that you ring Yamaha and you ask them if it's okay to do this connection thing I'm suggesting. If it is okay, then go ahead. But if it's not okay and you do hook them up, then you might get some distortion. If it is okay, you can pick up basic converter cables from the likes of eBay for, I don't know, just over £5 maybe. But if you're serious about your music, and there's a fair bit of value in the components there in that list, isn't there? Then Atlas themselves, well, they can create a pair of custom-made audiophile quality cables for you for around £140-ish. That'd be for a 3-meter pair, and they would use their excellent Element Mezzo cabling stock. And to be absolutely honest, well, I would trust Atlas's expertise on this point more than the guys at eBay, the Cables R Us, or whoever you decide to go with. Anyway, let me know how you get on. I'll be intrigued to find out the conclusion of this one. And before we get to the trivia answer, we've got a hint, a tip. Now this hint and tip comes from something I neglected to say, something I missed. This one is a quickie and it comes from a YouTube viewer, Pajimped29. Hello Pajimped. Now this one relates to my recent review of the Treesound Bluetooth speaker, but specifically the bit right at the beginning where I talked prices. Now in the original video I stated that the pound sterling price for the Treesound 1 is £699, but Pajimped had other ideas. And he says the Amazon advert for it showed a £150 voucher off. Still don't think it's for me, but enjoyable review. Well, that's very nice of you to say, Pajimped. And yes, I completely failed to notice the voucher offer from the host brand Tree to Tree. They're the guys who made the speaker, which indeed knocks off £150 off that UK price point. So, thanks to Pajimped for pointing that out and saving you all a heap of cash. Well done, Pajimped. And on that merry note, let's talk trivia answer. And before we get to the answer, let's remind you of the question, which is, only 2 British groups have seen their first 3 singles go to #1. Who are they, and what water-based song did they have in common? And the answer is Jerry and the Pacemakers and Frankie Goes to Hollywood. Jerry and the Pacemakers saw their first 3 hits go to the top of the chart in 1963 all the way through to 1964. And Frankie Goes to Hollywood matched the feat 20 years later. On the B-side of Frankie's first, Relax, was their version of Jerry's Ferry Cross the Mersey. Both groups, of course, came from Liverpool. As for my sins, do I. Anyway, now you know. And that's it, folks. Thank you very much for staying to the end of this video. And before you go, if I could ask you to click on the like and subscribe below if you haven't done so already, I would be chuffed to bits. Also, further down in the description, there is a link to my Patreon page, which, if you can support me over there, would be a massive, wonderful thing. It would be an entity all on its own, because Patreon funds this channel. It keeps it going. So any support you can give me over there helps here too. Also over there, there's all kinds of exclusives that you might want to check out. Also down below in the description, there are, well, links to the products I've mentioned in this video, link to my website, and also my Facebook group, which you're welcome to join, and other social media platforms, do they call them, that I might be hanging around on. I'll be back on Sunday with, it's a review. It's a pair of speakers, a pair of floor standing speakers. I won't tell you any more. I'll keep the rest as a surprise, and I hope to see you then. Until then, folks, I hope to have your company. Until then, bye-bye for now.